You're going to go in the back.
Do you want me out of your hair?
Yes, please. You're going in the back of the house to play and leave comments and all that stuff. Cool. Oh, hopefully you can read that. Hopefully it's not flipped over. If it is, I'm sorry. How about here? Onegashimasu, welcome back to the Goju Karate Center live stream. There are going to be a couple of these going forward, and you'll be able to find them in the back end of our YouTube channel. And hopefully we will work towards doing these consistently for the next couple of weeks. Finally, we'd like to get ready for Rukodan 6th Dan grading in OGKK. I've noticed a couple of people have done videos on getting ready for their grading, and I think this maybe is going to be two things. One, give you an idea of how I would go about it, knowing a chunk of the syllabus. It's not like I have to relearn the syllabus. All I have to do is polish a lot of the content that I already know. But most importantly, I need to get fit, and I need to get training so that I can endure the conditions where my grading will take place. My grading will hopefully take place, touch wood, and we can get there in Okinawa in the middle of their summer, so June, July, and it is unbelievably hot and incredibly humid, and that can really drain a person. And obviously for about a week before the time, there's intense training in the dojo, and there's adjustment to the climate as well as the time zone adjustment that I have to take into account, and then there's probably a formal test which has got its mental, physical, as well as somewhat emotional stresses that come with it. It has been 14 years since my last upgrade. So my last upgrade, I graded to 5th Dan in 2010. I've been a 5th Dan for 14 years. During that time, I have ratified my grading twice over. So I have a ratification from my regional grading Karate Do International Renmei, then Jundo Kansho Honbu, and then OGKK grading ratification. So I have 3 5th Dan certificates. We are now getting into this. Number one, we're going to go slow. We need to go steady. If you go fast and you push too hard too soon, the body hurts, and then you become dejected, and then you don't carry on. The reason for the live streams, you are my motivation. I am committing to try and do at least 1 live stream a week going forward, and if I can, I will try and push it up to 2, and if not 3 live streams a week, and be committed to that so that I can force myself to train. I need some way to force myself to train. I've decided to try and use live stream YouTube to that end. The content in this, please make notes. Go and check the notes against what will work for you. Do your own research, etc. And you need to adjust accordingly. Some basics at the bottom, a base level. What is your weight? What is your height? What is your BMI? What is your goal? So number one, I weigh about 80, maybe 82 kilograms at the moment. In my prime as a competitor, I weighed 64. So I'm, for all intents and purposes, my own personal, if I look in the mirror, I'm fat. My height, about 173 centimeters. My fat content, my body fat content is relatively high for where I come from. And I know it's going to take a combination of training plus diet and a lot of ragging from a couple of my mates because of that. And then the most important thing, if you're ever doing anything like this, is you need to have a backbone. If you want to lose weight, if you want to tone up, you need a backbone, because you've got to be able to say no to lots of things so that you can get through this. So backbone, if there's no backbone, you're wasting the time. Just carry on eating, get used to being whatever size and dimension you are, and then go from there. But really, backbone is essential. I'm not a fan of using stimulants and pharmaceuticals to help me. I just believe in a good diet, maybe a few multivitamins, that's it. and electrolytes. And then, yeah, research, etc. You need to do your own to just check what's going on. Right, so we're starting off slow, steady, easy. A couple of people have asked me to run through warm-ups. By the way, I'm not wearing a karate suit in the pure sense. I'm wearing a pair of black gi pants and a t-shirt. I will not be training in a full gi. This is not a formal karate edited kind of thing. So hopefully by the time I finish this will be sweaty, soiled, and need to go straight into the wash. Hey, let's get started. So hands on the hips. I'm just going to warm up by running through the Yumbi Undo and just lifting and getting all the joints working. And in the process, just trying to get my body kind of warm and prepared for what's going on. If I do Yumi Undo properly in 15-20 minutes, I'm going to be a little bit gassed already. So I'm a big fan of talking while I do warm-ups. Traditionally in my dojo, I'm constantly explaining what we're doing, where the focus is, just to help. Currently, South Africa is a nice pleasant day in Johannesburg. It's about 20 odd degrees and it's kind of sunny and bright. We've had a couple of hectic rainstorms this week, and yeah, I spoke to somebody in Canada, Sensei John, and he was telling us how cold it was, and he was having a cup of hot chocolate. So I hope you're watching, Sensei John. I like to do a side stretch this way. I will get to the more formal way of doing it now, where using two hands and stretching and 45 over. Change the hands, the same rather. One of the reasons I'm doing this, a couple of weeks ago, my very first karate sensei, Paul Andre, posted on Facebook that he was getting fit and he was doing his winter training and he was doing a follow along on a live stream, and that really got me ticking mentally. Maybe this is something I can use as my motivation. And so maybe 35 years later, Sensei Paul is still the sensei, helping me find a little motivation, like when I was a little tot. So I hope I'll send you my WhatsApp just to say, have a look at what I was doing. Maybe you're going to join in every now and then and copy. If you've done any kind of warm-ups, you'll know what these kind of exercises are doing. They're just slowly warming up the joints and getting the body going. Alright. Just trying to work through all my joints. And it might be a little bit different from what you're doing in your dojo. Hopefully there's enough similarity that fills in the gaps. I see their comments. I'll read all the comments afterwards. I'm not really going to be concentrating on your comments right now. And if there's anything that you suggest, I'll maybe bring it up in the next live stream. So this way Bend the wrist down. A lot of people do this. Try and kind of work those wrists. Thumbs, fingers, fingers, and fingers, and wrist. Get the hand forward, feel like you're stretching here and here, and wrist, and thumb, and fingers. I went down first, so let's keep it uniform. Fingers, fingers, and shake out. Alright, now let's add in an elbow. And down. Breathe in as you go down. As you go up, breathe out. So a lot of people squeeze their throat when they do this to try and be like more loud. I think the most important thing is that as you're doing this, as the airway opens, just exhale. And then allow the exhalation to work from the muscles in the rib cage and the diaphragm to create a strong exhalation. But relax the throat. So the noise is created by the speed of the air leaving per se, rather than the constriction around the neck and the throat. That's bad for your throat, your larynx and your pharynx. Those parts of the throat and the upper airway, they get badly destroyed by that, and it can affect your ability to speak. So don't go there. Alright, I know it's contraindicated, but 360 turns for a lot of people. Just do a couple, just get that neck going. Alright, so everything's kind of, all the joints are kind of limbered up a little bit, and we're just going to start working on trying to develop a little bit of the dynamics, okay? So I'm going to do some knee touches. Important here, keep the arms straight, hands flat, and just bring the knee to the hand. Don't hit down, please. So, cross over. Okay, double. So this is where the heart rate starts to pick up. So straight across. Alright, enough of those. Okay, otherwise you end up with loonies. Just to build a bit of speed, I'm not going to do toe touches just yet. I'm really struggling with those. The hips and the muscles over here in front, still a little bit tight, so I'm going to still loosen up a bit more before we get to that. Okay. Just dropping into your shikodachi. Okay, 45 degrees. I want to concentrate not on falling forward, so I'm not turning sideways. I don't want to be leaning forward. I really want to try and get my back straight and sit down. And while I'm doing that, to help me pull back, I'm going to pull my hands behind me, try to touch the back of my calves. You can see a little bit of ballistic work, and the heart rate's up, and I'm breathing heavy already. Yes, I am unfit. And that's the whole idea of this, is to try and get fit and to help people get fit alongside me, hopefully. Okay, so as I drop, similar to the warm-up with the neck, as I put the head back, just let the air escape. Okay, so a little bit of thrusting exercises, and again, this is very much ballistics or dynamic movements to try and generate a little bit of force through the body, getting the body going. And we're using Shikodachi again. It's a double whammy. A, the lungs and the heart rate might go up. If the breathing's out, you're going to be exhausted afterwards. And B, the legs are going to work. Leg-wise, I'm probably okay as far as flexibility is concerned. I'm reasonably okay once I'm warm. But I have a few niggles. I've got a right hip that's not behaving well. And a couple of years ago, doing a live stream, I went bananas. And I probably ruptured both my hamstrings. So my hamstrings aren't exactly my best friends at the moment. So a lot of kicking and those kind of things I'm really going to struggle with. So we're going to be doing a fair amount of that to help me recover and hopefully develop your legs. So hands in the chamber. As we drop, we're just going to go forward, breathe out, breathe in. It's two separate movements. Breathe out on the one, a little bit of a focal point, breathe in on the other. Okay, upright. I'm skipping the one hand, I'm going straight to the two hand. One more. Down, two hands crossing, looking forward, not down. Keep that posture. Forward, down, fists. Okay? Think of this as a transition as you're going through. Don't focus there. Get it there and drop and pick up. You ready? Oh, all right, getting gassed. So, feeling maybe a minute or 2 minutes of doing that. Can feel my heart is revving a little bit. Legs are not as tired, but the heart rate is up. And what we're going to try and do is keep that heart rate kind of up and down. You do the sports science, you train with a heart rate monitor. They have a zone. You try to stay in that zone. The zone differs according to what you're trying to achieve. Endurance, explosive speed, power, etc. As a karate person, we're trying to get all of those things. So, yeah. At this point, if we were in Okinawa, with the temperature as it currently is, it would be about 12 degrees warmer, I think, if not 15. I would be drenched. If I was wearing a full karate gi, I think at this point it will be sticking to me. We haven't done any PT, so my focus this first couple of weeks in the dojo has been doing tiger push-ups, so I'm going to do a couple of those. They've got a couple of different names, but essentially it's a whole bunch of yoga positions being done as a push-up, and it has a little bit of a dynamic nature. I'm going to use it, as I suggest to all my students, use it in sections or components to your advantage. Right now, I feel as rigid as can be, and I know that I need to stretch my muscles, especially posterior chain, so calf, hammy, glute, lower back, erector spiny, to try and increase my flexibility and to try and get that flexibility up. It's going to help prevent injuries, and it's going to give me a bit of a breathing space, considering that the heart rate is still pumping. Alright, so if you're a yoga expert and I'm doing this differently to you and I'm doing it wrong, that's okay. The disclaimer is I'm not a rocket scientist at these things. This is what I feel when I'm doing the exercise, where I feel it works best for me. I move my feet from together to open. It's about 4 movements through 45 degrees every time. So if I start here, toes touching, 45, parallel feet, hikudachi, 45, hatidachi, similar to nai hanchi or nai funshindachi. Hands are going to travel in line with my shoulders basically at this point. So they're going to be about shoulder width, and that means they're inside my legs. I'm going to move them forward, and I'm just simply going to push back. I think they call this the downward dog. So, and the nice thing about the camera is I can go through the motions and show you. So most people will have this position, the head will be a little bit up, and the first thing we want to do is kind of get the line straight from the wrist to the hip. So we want to try and press ourselves back and push our head in. And as we do that, see, I've extended a bit. I can press back and feel that stretch up the hamstrings and into the glutes. And now the lower back. I'm just simply going to kind of get to the point where I can feel a lot of it at the same time, pulling a little bit. My legs are twitching a bit, and I'm just going to sit it out. A relaxation time. Just bend, relax, lift the head up, get the blood out of your face, let it flow a little bit back into your body. And back up. Out. Alright, so I've done that 3 times. You can start feeling it's easing up on the back of the legs. All the shikodachis and the constant up down, the quads are starting to cramp a little bit. I suppose that's the muscles working for the first time, and obviously they're hauling the better part of 80 kilograms up and down, so the legs are working. Our next thing they're going to work is kind of like a push-up position, about 2 to 3 inches off the deck, and it's going to be hands in chamber, not hands at shoulders, and I want to try to keep my elbows in, and it ties in with good chamber hand, good elbow control. So that's important for me at this point, and I'm just going to try to hold my weight, and I'm going to lift, hold for a couple of seconds, relax, lift, hold for a couple of seconds, and I want to lift up as a unit. So from my head to my backside, I really want it to rise. I don't want to lift my bum and then my head, or my head and then my bum. I want to come up in a singular motion. Hopefully with the phone over there, I'll be kind of watching myself. I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting it right. So here we go. Dig the toes in the ground. Try not to hold your breath as you do it. So just up and hold. That's about 10 seconds. And breather. up. And relax. Up. I'm going to try and do 2 more. I can feel it's really starting to work. I'm having very short breaks. Up. And 1 more. Up. Okay. Roughly a 10 count up and down. You should hopefully feel your shoulders. Maybe a little bit of your chest, maybe a little bit of your core. Alright, so I've gone through a whole bunch of things that starting to get me going, and I'm starting to get a little bit warm. I haven't done all the exercises you would typically find in the Yundo. It's a good 45-minute workout to an hour on its own. So I'm going to cover kind of segments of it as I go. Again, I'm trying to start slow, I'm trying to go steady, I'm trying to understand that tomorrow I'm going to be stiff, although I have to teach, and it's going to hurt a little bit, because my body's probably going to kick me and say, hey, why did you do that to me? Obviously, between 2010 and 2024, a very, very long period of no grading, or just ratifications, and what happened is mentally kind of taken a, and after the last move and change, it was very much a, is this really for me? When a karate instructor starts asking themselves that, and it's my bread and butter, we're standing in my family's wealth that has been recycled and repositioned as a karate studio. Start asking yourself that. You're going to ask yourself, like, where were you? What were you doing mentally? What's going on? Where's the loss of motivation coming from? And I think if everybody looks at themselves honestly and starts to look inward, you got to figure out where and why and what reason. Is the motivation the fact that I need to get that next belt? How important is it for me? Have I got enough recognition with or without it? And so obviously it means something, it's something significant. It's, from a financial point of view, it's a lot of money to be spending in getting an upgrade in ranking. But from a personal achievement, it's pretty important, because you can only look inward so much, and sometimes you need that external. I've got a fantastic set of senseis down in Cape Town who constantly are trying to jack me up every now and then. Obviously from time to time they chop me down a bit, because I might be getting out of my lane a bit, but since Elias and since Lillian, you're helping to lift me up all the time, thank you. I know you're doing the same for the other guys up here in Johannesburg. Okay, so what can I do next to make this training session? This session is pretty much unplanned. I've got a little bit more planning going into the next session already, as far as equipment, and I'm trying to do this just to get the idea of getting my body going. So I'm going to run through some Kihon, just for the sake of getting stuff right. So number 1, good chamber, make Jordan Zukis. Don't have to do a lot, we just have to make sure that things are working. I'm also trying to use the video. The screen is facing me, so I've got that feedback off the camera as to whether or not I'm doing things right or wrong. Are my arms coming out, or am I getting a relatively good straight punch? Okay. So, make that lunge work. Again, I'm only doing hands. If you had a hand ergometer, maybe it would be fun to get on one of those just to see how fast you can go. And the idea now is building. So 2 times single punch, there's a little bit of explosion and a little bit of focus on each one. So, little bit lower. A little bit lower. Okay, approximately 60 punches, probably about a minute. Heart's going a little bit faster. Still easy because I haven't started moving the legs. Okay. Move back a little bit. Try not to block above your head too far. And make sure there's that crossing action. Now this is bugging me, sorry. I'm just going to do this. Go me no side. How's that? That's a little bit better. You don't need to see my feet right now. Chest block. See, this one's going a little bit further out. Should be there. Work on that one. Stomach. Doubles. So middle. Low. Had a sensei once told me, don't worry about doing fitness. Karate needs to be your fitness. Right now I'm feeling 6'10", 5 years away, because I feel so unfit. My heart is pounding. The sweat is running, and I'm feeling a little lightheaded, to say the least. Okay, a little bit more arms. My shoulders are probably going to be numb later, but at least I'm starting to get the proverbial ball rolling, and I can work a little bit on another part of my body, maybe my legs, my stomach and my back in the next session. So I am taxing my body, but in stages, until I can get to the point where I'm fit enough to tax the entirety and try, proverbially break it, and see what my recovery is going to be like. It's coming. I've got some crazy ideas here in my little journal somewhere from my past. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. I know there's another version of this. We'll do it just now. 1 count, 3 blocks. Wasn't so bad. It's half the body. 30 blocks in, as long as it takes me to do them. But it's only half the body working. You don't have the strong hikite pulling back all the time, sapping a bit of your energy. Alright, next one. I'm going to try, make sure there's a bit of a focus here and down. Two more for fun. What does our timestamp say? Sorry, I'm not wearing glasses. Oh, 36 minutes. Which means I've probably got 25 minutes of exercise in already. Probably going to do Sanchin Kata a couple of times. And that's going to be my close off. And then I'll tell you about the next session. Sanchin. I can feel my ears are about to pop. I'm trying to build as much pressure in my body. Self-criticism, maybe a little bit too fast, not enough control on the breathing, maybe a little bit too high. Try to punish the legs. I know the right hip, right ankle, that right foot's going to twist out a little bit, so I'm going to be vigilant of that as we go forward. One more time. That's my corrections for myself. So the oxygen is racing through the brain and feeling a little bit more relaxed. While I'm tired from the Yumbyundo warm-ups and a little bit of the calisthenics that go with it, I am somewhat refreshed by the Kata. I
think that's the oxygen speaking. And I know Tensho is more rejuvenate the body and Sanchen should drain the body more. So probably need to include more resistance, so maybe Brian or somebody will be joining me in a session somewhere along the line, and then I'll be fighting against their resistance they create to help improve that ability, and then also doing the kata with resistance in the form of either terror bands or weights to force the muscles to work. Again, starting early and slowly building so that we can carry on with our next session. So, I don't know if this turns up correctly on your screen. If it doesn't, we'll change it. Next live stream will be on Monday, kind of early in the morning. I'm hopefully going to do 2 live streams next week. I'm sticking my head on a block and trying to commit. And in doing so, I have to get up, set up, do it, and put it out there. And that's going to hopefully force me to train. Okay, so if you're watching these and going, all right, cool, I'm joining in. Lekker, which if you're not a South African means cool. If you want an easy translation, probably about 0500 Central African time or South African Standard Time. And then things that you may want to bring or have handy, a chishi that you can train with, and some kind of weights, same weight, so 2 3.5 kilograms, or 2 5 kilograms, or 2 7 kilograms, whether it's a dumbbell or a kettlebell or something of that sort. So we can do holding on with same weight in both hands. We're not killing ourselves with 20 kilograms here and 2 kilograms there. And then finally have a sense of humor, because most of the time this stuff is going to leave you wet, sticky, maybe a little bit depleted, and good for the next one. Sense of humor is super important. That is it for me. I'm going to wrap off. Thank you for joining. This is my first live stream of 2024. Trying to get fit with Shay. And the goal is probably around about end of June to be in Okinawa and to hopefully attempt and achieve 6 Dan Rokudan in OGKK grading, hopefully. Okay, it all depends on how much sweat and polish we can put in. Arigato gozaimasu. Sayonara, have an awesome one. Enjoy your weekend.